Shake, 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 Sinora, shake it all the time.
When you add a shake of Frank's Red Hot, you open a world of better. A world where wings bring out the flavor of game day any day. Where buffalo chicken dip takes any party up a notch. And where any slice of pizza instantly becomes the world's best slice of pizza. At least until the next slice. Bring every bite to life with the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that shit on everything.
Guys, we are here. Happy New Year. Welcome to the Bird Brain Podcast, where the goal is to rise above it all, stay elevated, create that infinity up your you. I'm your host, Isaiah, and guys, first episode of the new year. And I don't know how I feel yet, but we're here, so we're just going to do it. And again, if you guys like the podcast, and if you're new to the podcast and you want to help the podcast, head on over to iTunes where you can subscribe, rate, review, leave a comment. It just helps, helps build the podcast up, and it's greatly appreciated. And if you want to support the podcast, head on over to Patreon where you can get your own Patreon merch. I'm thinking of the Bird Brain store, but you can head to Patreon, become a patron. And there's some pretty cool perks in there. And if you want to buy or purchase, podcast merch, you can go to the Bird Brain store, get all the goodies there. All those links will be in the bio. And today we are going to talk about permission, giving yourself permission, what that looks like, what it sounds like, and how everything follows after you do that one thing. So get ready, guys. This felt necessary. I was thinking about it a couple of days ago. It kind of hit me, and I was like, oh. So here we are. All right. So get comfortable. Stay tuned. Rise above it all. Stay elevated. And create that infinity of your you. Of your you. Beautiful people, what's up? How are you? Happy New Year. Happy new day. Let's start small. Let's go there. How are you? How was the end of the year for you? And how's the beginning of the year feel for you? I think that's always weird. It's kind of crazy. Like there's this I'll speak for me. So New Year's Eve, or the days leading up to it, just mentally running a checklist of like things I want to do, little superstition things like, making sure I clean, go into the new year with a clean house, do this, and this. It's all like small things, but sometimes bigger. And last year, I didn't do all those things, but I didn't beat myself up about it either. I was just like, it's a new time for me. And, sometimes it's cool to throw caution to the wind and put down some old habits and see what happens for the new. Now, I'll be real with you guys. I've been like exhausted mentally for like the past few months, just trying to stay on top of a bunch of things and not really resting. If I'm being honest with you, not really resting. And I talk about rest all the time here, right? So I haven't been fully doing that, and I've just been taking time to do that a little bit more, which is why there were no Night Owl episodes, or like my creative process was just kind of like just put to a halt because like mentally I couldn't think creatively, and there are always those things of like, you have to push yourself to do this, to do that. And sometimes it does help. There were some days I was just like taxed, and I was like, nah, still try to get out of bed and work out a little bit. So I would do that. I would go downstairs and just hit a nice solid circuit. And that's how I moved into the new year, actually, with a bunch of things that I was like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I got to do this. Man, am I going to get this accomplished, so on and so forth. And then I just kind of like stopped with the monkey brain. Just stopped, because what does it do? You know, what does it do for you? It's great to have goals. I personally, and I say this every year, I don't make resolutions. I don't make New Year's resolutions, because I feel like it's a setup. You know, a resolve, a resolute is an absolute. And as people, it's important. I think resolutions are cool, but to get there first, you have to know you better to actually make a absolute about who you're going to be and what you're going to do moving forward. Your triggers, your past history, your responses to stress, happiness, sadness, the circumstances of life, you know, practical things that may or may not encourage the growth or the change that you're looking for. You know, I think it's important to start small. So I never make resolutions. What I always say is my goal is to be better than I was the year before. And I can honestly say with conviction and some sense of pride that every year I've done a little bit better. I transitioned a little bit to just be a different person or to just grow. And I have a very strong conviction and feeling that this year will be no different. It's cloudy right now in my head in terms of like what that looks like. But the one thing I gave myself permission to do, well, the one thing I did differently is I gave myself permission. A couple of days ago, I was just thinking about just a few things and thinking about how I typically operate, especially in my interpersonal relationships, when things don't feel right, when I don't feel like I'm being cared for or taken care of in a particular environment or with a particular person. I don't give myself permission to walk away. I don't give myself permission to put things down. And if I don't give myself permission to walk away from a situation, then I don't really fully give myself permission to walk into something new. Okay? So let's bring it back. New year, new me. You know, that's usually a thing that people say. It's like, new year, new me. Everything's going to be different. I'm going to change. I'm going to get fit. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to, you know, take over the world. Blah, 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 blah. You know, list, if you have a list. But the one thing that's missing from all those things is permission to do it. Permission. Just simply saying to yourself subconsciously, I give you permission to do, to be, to go, to leave, to stay, to achieve, to feel, to recognize, to grow. I give you permission to do those things. Now, if you are, I was talking to my buddy about this, and I said, you know what's funny? I've never given myself permission to do a lot of things. I waited for it. You know, I gave that responsibility to other people. Yeah. And we do it in a way of like validation. It's in a way of like subconsciously seeking approval. You know, you wait for the permission from someone else for you to do and be who you are first, because that lets you know that it's okay, that you're doing this thing right. What about if you just give yourself permission in this moment to just be who you are and to be imperfect and to know that that will be enough and your work will be enough to be better. Now, to go to the fitness thing, because I know New Year's resolutions usually revolve around getting healthier, you know? So one thing I always tell people is to start before the new year. Don't wait till January 1st. The reason why is because the first couple of days of January are usually kind of weird. Speaking personally, I don't know about you guys, but I can honestly tell you there's like this high that happens, right? So I'll explain it for me because I don't want to speak for you guys. And you can always hit me up and let me know if this resonates with you. But New Year's, the days leading up to New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then maybe 2 or 3 days, or maybe even, let's give ourselves a grace period, a week. Those days are just very weird in terms of how you feel, what you think, where you are, just how you exist, what's going on in the world around you. Those days are weird. So the ball drops, there's a celebration. So there's that initial high, right? There's that initial high that hits, boom. You're elated, you're motivated. Hey, this is a new year, Last year was shitty or good, but this is a new year and I'm going to be different. This starts day one for me. After the celebration's over, after that high dies down, you go home, you rest, you get up. Some people really hit the ground running, and I think that's amazing. Me? No. I need, what I've learned about myself, and I'm giving myself permission, is Isaiah needs time to process. Isaiah needs time to process things. And I've learned this in my relationships, whether it be significant other, business relationships, friendships, familial. Isaiah needs time to process things, and it can take a minute. Sometimes it can take a couple of days for me to just process what's going on and kind of get my grounding. And I'm cool with that. For somebody else, that might not be cool, but hey, this is me. I need to take care of me. And the other day when it didn't just happen right away, what did I do January 1st? What did I do January 1st? What did I do? Because I don't even know what today is. January 1st. Okay, yeah. So January 1st, I kind of moseyed a little bit, got things adjusted. I had some intentions to do just little things or get started on some things. And I was like, I think I'm all right. I'm going to take this time to rest. And I woke up a little bit later than usual because I went to sleep later than usual, but I woke up a little bit later. I think I did work out. Did I work out? I believe I did. And I also probably didn't. But again, I recognize how I move. And guys, I'm a trainer. You know what I'm saying? I'm a certified fitness trainer. And I understand how life works. Your energy is going to be different from moment to moment. And if you charge into a situation with your ego or your hopes, all of that, it's cool to have aspirations. Like I said, if you made a resolution, cool. Start small. And to start small, to start from the very beginning, to put anything in motion, you have to give yourself permission. You literally have to say to yourself, insert name, I give you permission to this. Because otherwise it's you say these things, yeah, I'm going to achieve my goal, I'm going to do this. And then you're just kind of oh shit, how do I even go about doing this? This is ridiculous. This is too much to handle, or this is not going to be good enough, or who am I kidding? And by that point, you're trying to a certain degree, but you're not seeing results right away. And the reason why is you didn't give yourself permission to be patient even. You didn't give yourself permission to go through the experience to get the results that you're looking for. Permission And it finally dawned on me. I was talking to my buddy Joe, who was also on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and we were just talking about permission. Like, even showing up to a space that you don't necessarily want to be in. Do you give yourself permission to say to yourself, hey, if this doesn't feel comfortable, you can leave? Or do you say, no, I'm going to stick it out because I don't want to hurt anyone? You know, it's that crazy thing, right? Of what am I doing? What am I telling myself I have to do versus the things that I actually want to do? Am I telling myself I have to play it small and wait for somebody else to tell me that I have the green light to be better? Or am I just giving myself permission to be like, hey, do your thing? And mental process of like, oh, I have permission to do and be. I have permission to do what I want. Whatever that looks like. I have permission to achieve this goal. I have permission to not give up when it gets hard. I have that permission. I have permission to be frustrated. You know, I have permission to ask for help. I have permission for people to love me. Little things we don't give ourselves permission for. And I want you to try that out. When it comes to something that you want or desire or seek or feel, and there's like some resistance, can you say to yourself, hey, I give you permission to whatever that is? Can you try that out? Here, I wrote down a couple of permissions that I'm giving myself. I'm going to share with you guys. So, okay. I give myself permission to embrace being attractive and admired. I give myself permission to choose myself. I give myself permission to be as successful as I work to be and beyond. I give myself permission to be loved properly. Those are what the ones that I wrote so far that I could think of. And also coming down to boundaries. You know, there's been this talk now of boundaries, you know, setting your boundaries, placing boundaries. And if you're not used to placing boundaries, you feel guilty when you place boundaries, right? Because you feel like you don't have permission to take care of yourself. Boom. So what about, hey, I give you permission to set this boundary to take care of yourself. And I give you permission to not have to take care of somebody else in that moment while you're placing a boundary. Again, let's start small. And I want you guys to try it out, and please hit me up and let me know how it works for you. I give myself permission to, I give myself permission to lay in bed. Because, okay, do you need this right now? Yeah, I do. All right. I give you permission. Yeah, guys. So do that. Give that a shot, and we'll lean into that more. But to achieve a new you, to achieve any goals that you have for yourself, to achieve healthier relationships with yourself and others, to achieve anything, give yourself permission to be that person that deserves all the things that you're seeking. Give yourself permission and just simply say, hey, I give you permission. And do it moment to moment. Every time you feel unsure or you feel like you have to wait to be validated to some capacity or granted access, say, hey, I give you permission, and see what that feels like. All right. That's how we're starting a new year, guys. So hit me up again, Twitter, Instagram. Let's chat. I would love to hear how you guys are doing with that. And of course, keeping up with the gratitudes. Don't stop making gratitudes. Don't stop finding things to be grateful for. They matter and they're worth it. All right. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And take flight. I love you guys.